YouTube, how's it going? NateGrit321 back again, and today I'm going to show off my September pickups. I got 6 games here for you, and kind of what I like to call my calm before the storm pickups, because pretty much starting with Gears of War 3 last week, there are going to be a ton of AAA titles coming out for a lot of different platforms in October, November, and kind of in December too. So there's a lot to look forward to. There'll be some big pickups down the road, but for now we got some alright games here or there, but that's good. My wallet needs a break before the next couple months here. So 6 games like I said, and the first one I want to talk about is probably one of my most anticipated ones, and it's not even really a game per se. As you can see, Battlefield 3, today is Thursday, September 29th, and the open beta just released for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. I obviously went on the PC side of things, and I've been playing it some today. I played it on my lunch break from work, and I played it for a couple hours when I got home, and I'm really enjoying it. I think the graphics look really crisp, really great. It's not the, mind-blowing game of the century kind of graphical look to it that sort of the hype built it up to be, but it still looks really great nonetheless. I like the way it controls. It doesn't feel like Bad Company 2, which isn't a bad thing. I liked how Bad Company 2 felt, but Battlefield 3 feels different. You just kind of got to get used to it. I feel like I'm really going to enjoy it when it comes out. There are some pretty noticeable bugs and glitches, and I'm going to chalk that up to hopefully, because it's just a beta build, or so they say. There's still some argument, how beta this really is, but so far I'm really enjoying it. The Operation Metro map is okay. It's not the traditional sort of wide open Battlefield map with a ton of vehicles, but it's enjoyable. If you got a 360, a PS3, or a gaming PC, I'd say give it a shot, just see if you like it. It's one of the most anticipated games of the year, so I might as well try it and see what it's like. I don't know how long the beta's open for. I want to say like 2 weeks, something like that. So give it a shot if you can. It's pretty enjoyable. I'm really liking it so far, and I can't wait till the full thing comes out October 25th. So that's the first game I've been playing, the beta, all day today. The next game I got was Star Fox 64 3D for the 3DS. First 3DS game I've gotten since Zelda came out, and I haven't put too much time into this game, and that's more due to the fact of kind of the nature of the game. To me, when I play Star Fox on the 64, it's just a couple minutes here or there, sort of jump in for some quick arcade kind of shoot 'em up action. I don't really sit down and play it for an extended period of time. I just kind of get my fix and get out. So that being said, I haven't put a ton of time into Star Fox 3DS, but the graphics do look really nice. You can tell they sort of upgraded it, and it's a better resolution. It looks really crisp on the 3DS screen, I think. It's still the same sort of gameplay from the 64 version, so if you enjoyed that, I think you'll really enjoy this. A lot of people say the $40 price point is kind of hard to swallow, and I see where the point. The game doesn't really have a ton of substance to it, especially because it's not online multiplayer, which is a really big disappointment. I was hoping this would be online, but of course Nintendo just dropped the ball on that, which kind of stinks. So there's not much in the way of, there's some replay value, but there's really not much to the package, you know what I mean? So $40, I can understand why some people might turn some people off, but keep an eye out for it in the future. I'm sure it'll drop before the holidays to $30 or something like that at some point. So keep an eye out. I'd recommend it if you have a 3DS. It's short on must-have titles, in my opinion, until the bigger stuff comes out later in the year in like November, December. So for now, to tide you over until Mario Kart and the Super Mario game, go ahead and I say give Star Fox a shot. Next game I got is a Steam game. I got on Steam. It's a online, well, I guess it has a campaign mode, but it's pretty much just training mode for the online. It's Red Orchestra 2, a tactical World War II shooter, and by tactical I mean very tactical and realistic. This game is realistic, brutally realistic. You are going to die a lot, and it doesn't show you a kill-death ratio, and I'm really glad it doesn't, because that would just frustrate me, because I stink at this game. I am so bad, but the funny thing about it is that I enjoy playing it. Typically if I suck at a game, I don't want to play it, but for this game, getting a kill is really gratifying. It's not like Call of Duty or Battlefield where you can rack up, 20 or 30 in a game. Some people do in this game, but if I get 5 kills in a match, each one of those 5 kills really means something, and it's you have to work and be patient and sort of know what you're doing to get them. So in that sense, it's a really gratifying first-person shooter, I think. I had an itch for kind of a World War II shooter, and I was on the fence about this because I got it maybe the first or second day it was out, and I was reading the Steam forums, and obviously there were people going nuts on it about bugs and things like that, which I've learned that the Steam forums are just kind of a magnet for those kind of people, so, take anything you see on there with a grain of salt. And two, the developers behind this game have been very good at supporting it. They've released numerous patches since it came out, and they're really diligent about making this game the best it can be. And what they've done, I think, is they've opened it up to the modding community. So in the future, hopefully we're going to see, user-created levels and maybe full-on mods for the game, which would be really cool. They've said that they're going to release mods and expansions for it in the future, things like that, free, from what I've heard. So that's always good. It's something to kind of have there if I need a break from Battlefield or something like that, just to kind of change of pace. So I'm glad to have it. It's pretty enjoyable, but know what you're getting into, I guess. Don't expect a fast-paced, easy-to-learn shooter, because this thing it'll kick your butt. It's a pretty brutal game, but it's fun nonetheless. It sort of scratches that itch for a World War II shooter, which who would have ever thought that would be rare nowadays? Everything's modern. It wasn't so long ago that every shooter was World War II, and now they're kind of hard to come by. So it was good to sort of, get my kick in for that. And it's cool to have. I'll just keep it on the back burner for now, really. Two more games I got on Steam. Incredible sales, back to back. I got them in 2 different days. First of which is Darksiders, a game I've sort of had on my radar for a while. Not on PC necessarily, but for 360 or PS3. I've heard a lot of things about it. I like God of War games. Hack and slash games are always fun. And I've heard great things about it. It's at a pretty good price point if you find it anywhere. It's at like 20 bucks. I saw it on a Steam sale for $5, so that was a no-brainer to jump on that. And I've put maybe 6-7 hours into this game, and it's really enjoyable. It's pretty much a God of War clone, honestly. It's almost exactly, even to like the enemies. It's just in a weird sort of fantasy, semi-future kind of thing. It's kind of hard to explain. Instead of, Greek and Roman mythology or whatever, like God of War. But it's a fun game nonetheless. It's really, if you've played God of War, you know how it controls, you can upgrade weapons and learn new combos and moves and things like that. Plays very similar. It's got when you go for like, I've heard people compare it to Zelda, which it doesn't make sense really until you play it, but the structure when you sort of go into a boss battle, you have to go through a dungeon of sorts. It's not necessarily like an underground dungeon like that, but you have to go around and solve puzzles and go room to room in these huge labyrinths, and just, it's really giant, like, puzzles and things like that. So in that sense, I can see it relating to Zelda, how you have the sort of dungeon with the final boss structure, and then you have a sort of main hub, not necessarily an overworld, but a sort of center area, and then you have to get to the next dungeon, go through that, fight the boss. It's sort of similar to that. So if you like that style of gameplay, I'd suggest it. You can find this game pretty cheap on consoles or PC. Definitely worth the $5, and I even think maybe if you can get it for under 20, it's worth a shot. You can probably find it even cheaper than that nowadays. It's a relatively old game, so very cool though. Very good looking game. Fun to play too. Mindless hack and slash like God of War. And Mirror's Edge is the game that I got the day after for $5 as well. And this is another game that has been on my radar, and I've heard awesome things about it. Made by the same people that make Battlefield, EA, and DICE, but nothing like that. It's a really unique sort of concept. It's first person, but it's you have to sort of traverse environments like free running, like parkour, So you're on these big city, like skyscraper, the rooftops and things like that, going from obstacle to obstacle, jumping over things. It's really cool, and the art style is really beautiful, really well done. Bright, vivid colors, they contrast really well. It's just a really cool looking game. At times the controls can be a little frustrating, similar to how in Assassin's Creed. It's not as responsive as it could be, but I sort of give it a pass because I think it would be very hard for a game to be perfectly responsive when you can jump anywhere and do anything and grab any ledge basically. So I can sort of understand that it's going to have its faults here and there like Assassin's Creed, but those frustrating moments, you get over them and you get on the next thing. The one big thing I don't like about it is the melee combat. And for the most part, it's avoidable. You don't have to fight guys, but there are parts of the game where you're forced to fight people, and the melee combat system in it is not very good at all. And it wouldn't be a huge difference if you didn't have to use it, obviously, but if they're going to make you use it, they should at least make it kind of a usable mechanic, really. It's just awkward and it's not really fun. So those parts really slow down the pacing. It's just sort of, there's not many of them, but the times where you do have to fight, it's just, it really stinks. It's a downer on what otherwise would be just a sort of fast-paced, just fun kind of environmental game. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's not that long. It's kind of short, but for the $5, it was definitely worth it. Again, like Darksiders, you can probably find it pretty cheap nowadays. Definitely worth a try. I wouldn't really call it a cult classic. I think it sold okay, but definitely worth a shot, I say. So, and the last one I got this last Tuesday. It just came out, the Eco and Shadow of Colossus HD Collection. And I do have both of these games already on the PS2, the original games, but I was going to buy this day one no matter what. They're awesome games, really just different games. You don't see many games like this, unfortunately. Very just artful and just really amazing games just like to look at. And the HD remixes aren't complete overhauls. You can tell that the textures and things have been bumped up a little bit, but for the most part it doesn't look like a AAA PS3 title or anything like that. But you know, for $40, getting Eco and Shadow of Colossus by themselves on PS2 is for at least $40 each. So this is a no-brainer. If you have a PS3, you have to get this game. Luckily, I actually got it with a coupon I got from buying Star Fox. I got $15 off this game, so I only ended up paying around $27, which is a steal. So even at $40, I was willing to pay $40 for this game for sure. Fantastic game, awesome. I've beaten Eco on the PS2, but in this version, I've only gotten past the first Colossus. So I'll dive more into that. You know, the Battlefield beta sort of messed things up for me here. I'm sort of all consumed into that, but once that goes away and I'll have a little time between that and the real BF3 coming out, I'll give it a shot, hopefully beat Shadow. I've never beat Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm going to try to do that in this version. And I beat Eco not too long ago, so I don't really want to go through that again, but sometime down the road I'll definitely play it. There's a little sort of 13-minute behind the scenes, I guess you could call it, thing with the developers. It's really not that great. But they preview Last Guardian. It's not any footage we haven't seen or anything, but it's just kind of cool to see that game, because I'm really looking forward to that game. If you don't know, that's the PS3 game. I think it's set for next year by Team Eco, the same people that made both of these games. So I'm really excited about that. So if you've been wanting to play these games, but they're a little out of your price range because they can be pretty expensive, this is a miracle, or you know, a blessing in disguise right here. Getting this for $40, I'd say definitely recommend it. Give it a shot if you have a PS3. These are must-play games, awesome games. And that's it for this month. Look forward to some good stuff in October, hopefully. And yeah, for now, NateGrit321 signing out.